History is filled with grand tales of generals, kings, and famous battles. But sometimes, the most profound stories of heroism are found in the smallest, most unassuming figures. Today, we're going to talk about one such hero, a scruffy, forgotten terrier named Rip, whose courage saved over 100 lives during one of the darkest times in London's history. Imagine this. It's the autumn of 1940. London is under relentless attack. Night after night, the sky rains fire and destruction. This is the Blitz. In the East London district of Poplar, an air raid warden named Mr. E. King is picking his way through the smouldering ruins after a particularly brutal raid. The air is thick with smoke and the smell of devastation. Suddenly, amidst the silence of the rubble, he hears a faint scratching, a desperate little whine. He follows the sound and starts digging with his bare hands. Buried beneath the debris, he finds a small, terrified dog. It's a black and white mixed breed terrier, not even fully grown. He's filthy, starving, and one of his ears is torn. He has no collar, no name, and no one comes forward to claim him. Looking at this trembling creature, Mr. King simply says, "You're coming with me, Rip." And just like that, a legend was born, though no one knew it yet. This was no ordinary adoption. Rip wasn't a trained rescue dog. In fact, he had no training at all. No one ever taught him how to search for survivors in the treacherous chaos of a bombed-out building. It was pure instinct, a calling he seemed to understand from the very first moment he joined Mr. King on his duties. From the first raid he attended, Rip knew exactly what to do. While human rescuers struggled to locate signs of life, Rip would dart ahead, his nose to the ground, his tail held stiff with concentration. He would weave through shattered timber and twisted metal, a small, determined shadow in the dust. And then, when he found someone alive, buried beneath tons of wreckage, he would bark. But only once, a single, sharp bark. After that, he would stand perfectly still, staring intently at the spot, a living marker, until the rescue team arrived with their shovels and equipment. What's truly remarkable, almost supernatural, is that Rip never made a mistake. He never barked for the dead. His single bark was a signal of hope, a promise of life hidden where all seemed lost. In the darkest 12 months of the Blitz, and later during the terrifying V1 and V2 rocket attacks, this little stray terrier located more than 130 people buried alive, 130 souls who would have otherwise perished. Some of the people he found were pulled from the rubble within minutes of his alert. For others, hope had been abandoned. They were presumed lost until Rip's insistent single bark guided rescuers to a tiny pocket of air, a space no human could have possibly detected. He was fearless. He worked through raging fires, past the constant threat of collapsing walls, and even through clouds of poison gas, without a moment's hesitation. His only mission was to find the living. There's one story that perfectly captures his incredible bravery. During a search, an entire terrace of houses suddenly slid into a massive bomb crater while Rip was inside. The rescue team was horrified, certain they had lost their canine companion. They dug frantically for hours, fearing the worst. But when they finally cleared a path, they found him. There was Rip, sitting calmly on a fallen beam, completely unharmed. And beside him, he was guarding an unconscious child he had found just before the collapse. He hadn't abandoned his post, even when the world was literally crumbling around him. Despite his incredible contributions, Rip was never an official member of any service. He wore no uniform. He had no ration card like the other service animals. He was just Rip, the warden's dog. He survived on whatever scraps of food the men could spare from their own meager rations. He was one of them, a volunteer in every sense of the word, driven by a loyalty and purpose that defied explanation. After the war, in 1945, the People's Dispensary for Sick Animals, or PDSA, began awarding the Dickin Medal. This is the highest honor an animal can receive for gallantry in wartime, often called the animal's Victoria Cross. And when the time came to recognize the heroes of the home front, Rip became the very first search and rescue dog ever to receive this prestigious award. The citation was simple, understated, yet powerful. For locating many air raid victims during the Blitz while serving with the Civil Defense Service, Southill Street Depot, Poplar. When the war ended and the bombs stopped falling, Rip's work was done. He lived out the rest of his days peacefully with Mr. King, the man who had pulled him from the rubble. He passed away from old age in 1948, and was laid to rest in the PDSA's Animal Cemetery in Ilford. His gravestone is small and humble, bearing only his name and the years of his life. You won't find Rip's story in most school textbooks. We learn about the daring pilots of the Battle of Britain, the brilliant codebreakers at Bletchley Park, the famous generals and politicians who led the war effort. Their stories are vital, of course, but we almost never hear about the small, nameless terrier from Poplar, the stray who refused to leave a single ruined building until every living soul he could reach was saved. Think about that. Over 100 Londoners survived the war, went on to live full lives, to have families of their own, all because of a stray dog that nobody wanted. A dog who, on his own, decided that this dangerous, vital work was his to do. He wasn't bred for it. He wasn't trained for it. He just did it. This is the kind of history that often gets forgotten, lost between the pages of grand narratives. It's the story of how, in the midst of unimaginable human conflict, a small animal showed us the true meaning of courage, loyalty, and hope. The story of Rip is a powerful reminder that heroes come in all shapes and sizes, and sometimes they have 4 legs and a wagging tail. Thank you so much for joining me to hear the incredible story of Rip the Terrier. If you are as moved by his story as I am, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of forgotten heroes. Let us know in the comments what you think about this amazing dog. See you next time.